As soon as Commissioner Stubblefield gets to his seat, I will now ask Coffee County Sheriff Chad Parton to call the meeting to order.
Come to order. This commission's now open for business.
We need Pastor Chevy Shields, please, to the lectern.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts that we live in Coffee County. We're seeking your wisdom and your guidance as we gather to serve our community. We ask for your presence in this meeting, that you may grant us clarity of thought, fairness in judgment, and kindness in our decisions this evening. Bless this commission with the strength to lead with integrity, the courage to make decisions that uplift each citizen. All of this with humility, to listen to the voices of those we represent. May we always strive for justice, unity, and the betterment of Coffee County. Let our words this evening be thoughtful, our actions honorable, and our hearts open to the needs of those we serve. And all God's people said, amen.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Tim Brown, would you please lead the assembly and pledge allegiance to the United States flag? Okay, the next thing is the approval of the agenda. I've got one note right quick before anybody asks to amend that 11D of your paper copy, if you have a ink pen handy. 11D does not have a resolution number there, but it has been designated as 2025-13. If everybody would make that notation.
And Mayor, I'd like to amend the budget, the agenda, excuse me.
Let me ask my IT expert, does he need to post the amend button for you guys to work? We have a motion by Benton, Commissioner Benton Brown, with a second by Commissioner Frank Watkins to approve. Now there's a motion to amend by Commissioner Tim Morris. Is that correct? Have you got that down correct?
Yeah, we got it.
State your amendment.
Yes, sir. I'd like to move 11B, which is the preliminary budget worksheet to 11I. And I'd also like to add 11J, a discussion of the TVA money.
Sure. You're adding 11J, right? It's not on the agenda, is that correct?
Yes, I'm adding it.
Yeah. So you're all right with that? Okay. Commissioner Benton Brown and Commissioner Watkins, do you agree with the items that Commissioner Morris has amended.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. Now, we have to wait. I think we have to wait for her to move this stuff. Do you want to move it right now, or you want to go ahead and approve the agenda?
Commissioner Morris, what was the J addition?
J is a discussion on the TVA money.
You gotta be sure that her electronic software allows that. We can vote on the amendment if it makes it easier on you, okay? Does everybody understand what we're doing? We're voting to amend the agenda by the two items that Commissioner Morris noted. So if you're ready, girls, for them to vote. Okay, the amendment passed, 18 yes, no no's. So the amendment, the agenda has the amended. Now we're ready to vote on the agenda as amended. All right, the agenda has been approved with 18 affirmative votes. The guys have to have a minute or two to move these items around in the software. Well, I think the zebra has made it back home, if anybody been watching the news. I think they took it back to Texas where it came from, if I read it right. And Coffee County made a lot of news with the airplane that went down in Tullahoma, and we're so thankful there were no fatalities. It could have been much, much worse. Are you ready to go? Okay. All right, so the agenda has been approved. We're ready now to move to public comments. Public comments, if you've signed the sheet and wish to speak to any item on the agenda, and you are a Coffee County native resident, please come to the lectern and make your comments. Several agenda items. Yes, sir. Come forward. State your name, please.
I'm
Milton Stanley, Constable for Districts 1, 3, and 4. And I'm here to talk about the motion to get rid of the constables. And I've been told it's a done deal, that it's gonna happen. And I don't expect to change anybody's mind. But for those of you who will listen, I'm gonna speak some truth tonight. And that is that, yes, maybe you'll save a little bit of liability by getting rid of the constables, a little bit. But you're also going to do a little bit to kill something that's very precious and good in this county. And I'm talking about the communities and the traditions and the people in the rural areas. A tradition and a community where people know each other and take care of each other, and when there's a small problem, they don't call the experts to cruise in with body armor and back up. They go and they talk to their neighbors, the lawmen, the constables. They've done this for a long time. The symbols of self-sufficiency and community. And I'm talking about people that go way back. I'm honored to be part of that line. Men like Sherb Jacobs and Danny Davis and Draper Davis. And others, including members who later went on to be part of this commission. And when I give this requiem, which I think is what this is going to be, for the constables of Coffee County, it's not about me. I'll have more time to do other things. I'll have more time to visit friends and family, to go to the Fredonia Fish Fry and the New Union Fire Department breakfast, and the Pocahontas yard sale, and the Shady Grove and Summitville picnics, and to see my friends and family in Goose Pond and Nat Hill and Noah and Beach Grove. But I got to tell you the sad truth, and that is that all of those communities are dying. You know this. It's a long and silent death by 1,000 cuts. It's a bleed out. And that's what happened. Years ago, decades ago, the school board cut the schools. Satan, the devil, has been gnawing away at the churches, and now the county commission is about to get rid of the constables. And, you know, it's a sad situation. I hate to see it, because it's a beautiful thing that these communities has. It's a small thing. And so, yes, when y'all cut the constables, it'll save you a little liability. But it's going to help kill something very beautiful, very old, much older than any of us. And something that once it's gone, we're probably never going to see it again.
Thank you for that. Does anybody else wish to speak to an agenda item? State your name, please.
Randall Breaker. I'm the constable for Districts 4, 5, and 9. I would also like to ask you not to do away with the constables. I think that we provide a valuable service, and I'm not going to be as eloquent as my cohort there. But I would like to say that there was a couple of questions that I asked that people asked me that I just wanted to make sure that we all had the full facts on. We do have a bond for $10,000 that covers the county. Costs me $100 a year out of my own pocket. And I've got it in covering 24 and 25 after I got elected. And I think that, amongst other things, is I'm a member of the Police Benevolent Association. They will represent me legally if I get into a claim or trouble or anything, which alleviates the county from that responsibility. I don't believe that we represent almost any liability to the county at all. And since we don't get paid, we don't cost the county anything. I'd also like to point out that between the three of us that are here tonight, I think we got almost 6,000 votes in the last election. And I think that those 6,000 people that voted for us kind of gave us a mandate to do something. And I don't think that the commission should kill something that those 6,000 people voted for. If we want to have a referendum and let people vote on whether we need constables or not, that'd be different. But to have the commission vote us out, I just don't think is fair. And we put a lot of time and effort into being constables. I know I've had 100 hours of training in the last 2 years. Somebody asked me, do you have training? And I said, well, I've had to go to 100 hours. To qualify at the range, I had to do all that training at my own expense. And I would really appreciate it and ask you not to do away with the constables. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Breaker. Anybody else wish to speak?
Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, thank you. James Sanders, Constable, District 5, 8, and 9. As you see here tonight, 2 other constables, and we also have members of the Tennessee Constables Association here to address any questions you may have concerning the training and qualifications of the constables throughout the state of Tennessee. To emphasize on some of our training, the mandated Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy mandates certain classes that all law enforcement officers must have. We do that. Other classes that we have to make sure we do the 40-hour. However, last month, our state legislation approved a bill for us constables to have 128 hours, so that we will go to that. However, excuse me, I just want to urge each and every one of you to think about the history of the constables here in Coffee County. Like you said, we're not paid. We do this as a volunteer basis because we're elected by the constituents, same people who voted you in office. And I look around and I'm your constituent and you're mine. We provide a free service to the folks, to the good folks of Coffee County. I want to say thank you. It's been an honor to serve my country for the past 21 years in the military. It's also been a second honor to serve as constable of Coffee County, to serve the folks of Coffee County, and also to serve this board. If you have any questions, please feel free when it comes up on the vote to talk to these gentlemen from the TCA board. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak to an agenda item?
Hello. Jenny Anthony, Circuit Court Clerk. I'm here on the behalf.
Did you
of-
say your name was Jenny Anthony?
I did.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
I
so.
just wanted to, y'all are a little bit closer than normal. I'll move this up anyway. I'm here on agenda item 11E, concerning adding a 1250 fee on the behalf of the district attorney's office. I found out late yesterday evening that it was on the agenda. I'm not opposed to the 1250 on the bill. I did speak with the state today. I just need a little time to get it set up in our system. If it is approved tonight, and I did just bring some copies of what our cost bills look like, just so y'all can kind of just have a general idea what they look like and how it's broken down line by line. The majority of I believe, and I haven't talked to Mr. Northcott about it, but the majority of the 1250 fee that probably will most likely be collected will be on driving offenses. And if it's okay with you all that I've made copies for everyone to pass out.
Sure.
But we will collect on other charges but you're pretty much guaranteed to collect on the driving charges just due to the repercussions of you losing your driver's license if you don't pay on a driving charge. Our criminal or other types of charges I've also attached just so you can kind of look over, like our drug charges. We collect on those, but it's not guaranteed. Our driving charges is probably where most of the funding is gonna come from. So if you're pulled over with a traffic citation, state trooper, then it's gonna tack on $12.50 to that bill, which is, I'm not, like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I just thought you would all like to have a visual and just kind of an understanding how that works. But the state, I did speak with Lisa McLennan, state of Tennessee, the administrative office of the courts, and she's working on, preparing, getting that set up in our system, but would need just a little bit of time. So if we could have till July 1st, if it's approved tonight, if that's okay with everybody.
Duly
that's
noted.
my only request.
If you want to hand those out, you
Yeah.
can right
Mhm.
now. The business item that Ms. Anthony's referring to, when it comes up on the agenda, District Attorney Craig Northcott is here to explain it in great detail, and I'm sure the two departments will work together to make the system work afterwards. Anybody else have public comment?
Hello, Mayor. My name is Jason Quick. I'm the city administrator from the city of Tullahoma, and I want to say thank you to you and to the commissioners for the agenda item that is on tonight regarding the economic impact study for Summerlin. Just a little history. This is something that we have been looking at for quite some time. But I want to make sure it's understood by the commissioners that the city of Tullahoma and Coffee County, and I would include Manchester perhaps, we all have the same goal in mind, which is we love our county, we love our city. And we want to make sure that as we look to progress, we don't take our eye off preservation. And I feel very confident with this economic plan that is going to be presented to you tonight, that you'll see that this development is something that's going to be extremely positive for the county as well as for the city. And I don't think we could have found a better developer partner, if you will, to come in than Chris Rudd with Beacon Properties. So I just want to say thank you for your consideration. I was able to attend the Budget and Finance Committee meeting that occurred a couple of weeks ago. I thought the presentation that our Economic Development Director, Winston Brooks, was very thorough. I know Mr. Rudd was able to provide some comments on some concerns or some questions. And the fact that we received a unanimous vote from the Budget and Finance Committee was very heartwarming. So I just want to say thank you in advance for your consideration looking at this. From an economic and from a financial standpoint, it is a great opportunity for Coffee County and for us to be able to add growth, if you will, but doing it in a way that does not have a negative impact on the community in which it's joining. For those of you that are not aware, the Summerlin development is going to be at the north end of the Tullahoma city limits, right up against the city limits in some developed or undeveloped land that's been there for quite a while. One of the things that excites us about this, as sometimes with your growth, it may come in the middle of your city, and then it starts cramming and crowding and causing some issues. The fact that this is going to be happening at the northernmost tip of our city limits is going to really reduce that impact. The other exciting opportunity or advantage of this development, it is going to be on Highway 41. So it's already a 4-lane road. It's already equipped to take on some of the traffic that would be coming from this development. But I think all in all, I don't think we could have asked for a better project to come our way and a better developer. And I just want to again say thank you for your thoughtfulness and your consideration in looking at this and looking at the future of Coffee County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I'm sure we'll get a little better explanation when we get to that item on the agenda. Any more public comment on any agenda item?
is Matthew Bird. I'm coming here to speak in support of the same, the Summerlin TIF. I'm coming as an alderman for the city of Tullahoma, also the appointee to the Economic Development Corporation in Tullahoma, and a soon-to-be neighbor of the Summerlin development. When I first heard about this, I was against it, but after speaking with Mr. Rudd and learning what this could do for our community, I am completely in support of it now. Not only will it increase our residential growth, but it also gives us the chance to expand our economic corridor further down 41A. I believe this will be a boon for Tullahoma and Coffee County. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. If there's any more comments, it needs to be quick, because I'm going to shut them off at 6:30. Anybody else have anything they need to say? Okay, that ends public comment section of tonight's business. We're now going to move to the review and approval of the minutes. We have a motion by Commissioner Stubblefield, seconded by Commissioner Watkins. Coffee County Attorney Mark Williams has a couple verbiage changes that he wants to make to this, and I would like for Commissioner Hirschman to make the motion to amend those, since it was his motions that are being edited somewhat.
Okay,
Let him present.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. They relate to item 11I in the minutes. And I think what I recall that was done was it was to amend the agenda, what it should say, to refer the alleged misconduct by Commissioner Hodge to County Attorney Mark Williams for investigation. And then on 11J, it would be add item to agenda to refer the alleged misconduct by Commissioner Hodge to County Attorney Mark Williams for investigation. And on 11K, it would change to say refer the alleged misconduct by Commissioner Hodge to County Attorney Mark Williams for investigation. That would be the way I would suggest that.
You're essentially adding the words refer as opposed to direct.
Correct.
Okay, change the meaning of the sentence. So, have you made the motion to amend? Need a second for his amendment, which I can't see. All right, the motion to amend by Commissioner Hirschman has been seconded by Commissioner Nettles. Is there any discussion on these clerical changes? If not, we're ready to vote on the amendment. The motion passes with 15 yes, 2 no, and 1 abstain. Now we'll proceed to the main motion of approving the minutes as amended. Okay, we're back to the main motion. Commissioner Stubblefield, do you wish to make any comments regarding the minutes? Any discussion, changes? If not, we're ready to vote for approval of the previous previous meeting minutes. We have the minutes have been approved, 16 yes, 2 no. Thank you. We're moving to resolutions of memorial sympathy proclamations. There's none. Elections, appointments, and confirmations. The notaries that are listed were approved by unanimous consent with the approval of tonight's agenda. There's no appointments to committees. The Elk River Public Utility District of Tullahoma, Kenny Sadler was approved by their board, which I signed off on. Do you have that in there as a no vote or a vote item? No vote. Okay, this is basically a FYI for you guys, because they make the decision. The county mayor has to sign off on it. Okay, now the floor is going to be open for nominations to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the vacancy of associate member. Associate member Helen DeBellis has resigned her position, so a vacancy exists. There were 2 citizen participation forms filled out by individuals that wish to serve on that. The 2 individuals are Jeff Keel and Summer Denby. Before I open the floor for nominations, is Jeff Keel in the room? Is Summer Denby in the room? Would you please come to the lectern and let the individuals of the body ask you questions? Let them know a little of your background.
So I'm Summer Denby, and I'm here tonight to introduce myself. I am a resident of Coffee County. I have an early background in corporate finance, holding positions such as accounting manager and controller for various local manufacturing companies, well-versed in budget and planning. In more recent years, I have grown an appraisal business in which I'm a certified Tennessee residential appraiser, serving local and national banks as well as individuals with the appraised values of their homes. Also have a Tennessee realtor's license. Through the years, I've learned a lot regarding codes and zoning through business, of course, and also my own personal projects and endeavors. I live on the county side of Short Springs Road in Tullahoma with my retired parents as my neighbors. Together, my father and I farm 85 acres of goats, sheep, and highland cattle. I'm here tonight to offer my experience and skill set to further serve the community. I intend to make well-researched and educated decisions, and I reside under District 5, Commissioners Missy DeFord and Tim Morris, and I would love your support.
Does anybody have any questions for Summer? That's S-O-M-M-E-R, right?
It is S-O-M-M-E-R.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Commissioner DeFord, you request to speak?
Can I go ahead and make a nomination?
You can.
I'd like to nominate Summer Denby, please.
So you have nominated Summer Denby.
Summer Denby.
Thank you for that. Are there any other nominations? Commissioner Benton Brown, you request to speak?
I'd like to second Ms. DeFord's nomination.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, are there any more nominations? The- We have, Jeff Keel has been nominated. Okay, we have 2 names now. I need a motion for the nominations to cease.
Second.
Is that good enough, or do they need to vote on the cease? Okay, we need to vote on nominations to cease. You want to do it by a show of hands? That make it easier on you guys? Okay, all those? Yes, to cease. Okay, everybody raise their hand for nominations to cease. That looks unanimous to me. Okay, nominations cease. We have 2 names. We have to do a roll call vote I'm going to ask our county clerk to go in whatever order you want. You will state, you can use whatever name you wish, Mr. Keel or Miss Denby or Denby. You can say it however you want to. Just be sure you say it clearly and into the microphone.
Jimmy Hollinsworth.
Pull your microphone down, Miss Clerk. Pull your microphone down. They can't hear you.
Jimmy Hollinsworth.
Jeff Keel.
Dow Jones.
Summer.
Benton Brown.
Ms. Denby.
Roger Chambers.
Ms. Denby.
Laura Nettles.
Summer Denby.
Roseanne.
Summer.
Tim Brown. Joe Mike.
Jeff Keel.
Missy.
Summer Denby.
Tim Morris. Terry Hirschman.
Jeff Keel.
Sammy.
Jeff Keel.
Tina.
Summer.
Duncan. Jackie.
Denby.
Dwight.
Keel.
Tim.
Summer Denby.
Lynn.
Denby.
And Frank.
Keel.
Denby, 7 Keel.
11 for Summer Denby and
7 for Keel.
7 for Jeff Keel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're now the associate member of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Thank you.
Just a brief explanation. There's a 5-member board. If one individual is absent at a meeting, the associate member shows up and takes that vacant seat for that meeting only. The quorum would be a minimum of 3. Like if 2 regular members showed up, she can take the seat to form the quorum of 3. So that's the mechanics of that. Okay, next. Unfinished business. We're now ready for the resolution 2025-09 to abolish the position of constable in Coffee County. And this is our second vote. This does take a 2/3 majority of the body, and this second vote will make it official. So we need a motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Hirschman, seconded by Commissioner Nettles. Commissioner Hirschman, you have the privilege to speak first since you made the motion.
I pretty well have let everybody know where I stand on this issue. I'm still going to stand the same way right now. So that's all I have to say.
Commissioner Tim Brown, you have the floor.
I would like to have the 2 extra guests come up and speak tonight to give their point like we did last meeting.
Okay, you want expert commentary?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. We would welcome that. State your name, make a brief, if you would, as possible, and answer questions. I hope everybody
sir.
might have some questions.
My name is Steve Mangrum. I'm the Executive Director for Tennessee Constables Association. I'm from Murray County, Tennessee. I'm here to ask you tonight to think twice about doing away with your constables. I'm just going to throw a few examples out there. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have. If I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer and get it back to you. I hope that's fair enough. The constables that are here tonight, I've got documentation that shows that these gentlemen have completed 40-plus hours of in-service training annually. I think it goes all the way back to 2020. That's what the law requires. Just like any other full-time law enforcement officer that works for the Sheriff's Department here in Coffee County, the city of Tullahoma, or Manchester, or anywhere in the state of Tennessee. We recently pushed to get the law changed to require more training for constables. Effective as of July the 1st, the governor has signed off on it. It'll go to 128 hours for new constables coming in. And I personally think that's great because you can never have enough training. I think there were some questions asked and let me say, I apologize to you for not being here at the last meeting, but I was recovering from surgery. It's the only reason I wasn't here. But I think there was some questions asked is who do you report to? Who do you answer to? Well, as a constable, we answer to the people that elect us, just like the people that elect you and the sheriff and all the other elected officials in the county. But also as a TCA, if, say, the mayor has a complaint on one of your constables, he can email the TCA or he can call our 615 number that's posted on our website, and we'll take that complaint, and we have a review board that will do an investigation to look into what the complaint is. So there is some accountability there. There was, I think I watched the video questions about the training. There's training there. I'm thinking, I may be wrong on this number. I did not pull it before I left the office today. But I think there's about 140 hours that a constable can do in-service training on Virtual Academy, which is the same online training course that your sheriff's department probably and your police department uses. I don't know. I noticed there's an officer here. He may be able to answer if they use Virtual Academy. I don't know if there's anyone with the sheriff's department or not here. I guess so. There's the sheriff. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Training shouldn't be an issue. Liability, let's talk about that just for a moment. I've talked in other counties across the state, and their answer to me is they have checked with their insurance, and a constable that is elected just like you as a county commissioner, just like the sheriff, is covered under the same insurance policy as his deputies and he is as an elected official in the county. So as far as liability, the county, you're covered through that insurance, from what I understand. Unless your policy is totally different. It may be something you look at. But, ladies and gentlemen, it may be your daughter or your sister or your mom or one of your mom or daughters that is being attacked out in the county, and your deputies are tied up and can't get there, and a constable's a half a mile down the road, and he saves their life. If you eliminate this position tonight, yes, they'll have to serve until the end of their term, but I think it would be a mistake, because your life may depend on a constable one day. I can think of a couple awards that we just recently given at our convention. One of them was a life-saving award where a constable arrived on a wreck scene. Car was in the water. That constable dove off in the water to check the vehicle that was underwater to make sure there was nobody there. that vehicle, there wasn't anybody. But there was another incident where a guy was having a heart attack, actually had quit breathing and everything, started CPR, saved their life. Ladies and gentlemen, think hard tonight before you vote to abolish this office of constable. It's a long-standing office, and you may need these gentlemen one day. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
You have
Commissioner Reed.
logs for their
I'm sorry.
training. You have logs for their training. Do you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
logs for how many hours they put in a week or a month
As far as patrolling or
Yes.
training?
patrolling?
No, ma'am, I can't answer that because they have to keep up with that themselves. We keep up with their training records.
But we're elected officials, and when we come to this meeting, it's recorded. So they should be recorded too. I mean, let's say one does 30 minutes a month. Is that position really even worth it?
But
If
you
they
may
do
have-
2 hours, how
But
do you
you-
contact them?
I'm sorry?
How do you contact them?
Well, I know in our county, and I can't answer, and maybe the sheriff, is it okay if I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure, thank you. Sheriff, can you tell me if if somebody calls your office and needs to get in touch with a constable, are they able to do that?
Yeah, the only constable I know is James Sanders, and I didn't even know, I've known Randall Breaker for many years. I didn't even know he was a constable. So that tells you how much I know about the constables and what their interaction with me is in Coffee County. But, I mean, if somebody called looking for a constable, I'm sure
Okay.
we could find them. I'm sure maybe our 911 center's probably got their numbers and stuff. I just happen to have Randall's number in my phone. The other gentleman that spoke, I think I might have spoke to him one time. That's the first time I've recall seeing him maybe. But I see thousands of people. But I've known James for years and years and years and Mr. Breaker. But as far as anybody else, sir, to be honest with you, I don't know him because James is the only one I've seen out active or whatever trying to do something.
And I understand that totally.
Yeah.
Because through every county in the state of Tennessee that has constables, you probably have about 50 to 60% of them that are very active. You've got some that are older that are not quite as active. I don't mind telling you, I spend, if I had to guess, anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week myself patrolling the county that I live in and answering calls. Of course, we're allowed to, and I don't know how it is here, I can't answer because I don't live here, but we communicate with our radio system. We talk with our sheriff's dispatch. We can talk to ECOM 911 dispatch. We're dispatch calls just like deputies are at times. I've had our sheriff's department to call us and say, hey, we're backed up. Can you come out and help us? Absolutely, I'm on my way. And that's what we're there for. We're not here, or shouldn't be here, out here playing, let me say this, and as nice as I can say it, and it not sound the way it's gonna come out. A constable, in my opinion, your main purpose is serve papers and be a backup officer for your full-time deputies and your full-time police officers. And that's what I do. Yes, we have the authority to write tickets, arrest people, etc., just like any other full-time officer. But what I do is I go out and I'll back my city officers up, or I'll back the deputies up on traffic stops or domestics or wherever they need me. But you could ask these gentlemen, they may be able to answer that question if they keep a log. I keep a record of when I'm out. I keep up with my mileage and that kind of stuff. Any other questions?
I've got a question, but it's not for you, because Tina's got a good question there, what she asked. And James and Milton, I know very well, and Milton I see out all the time, and James, probably every day. So I'd like to ask how many hours they spend a week.
Not as many as James, but I'm working 2 jobs
contact you?
I have cards, and I give them to people, and they can get a hold of me. If they have an emergency, they need to call 911, because I'm just one guy. I don't even have a radio. The radio system's totally different.
Okay, I have one more question. When was the last time you actually went to a site or was called for something?
It was about, it was the last month. I think I sent an email to all the commissioners. Had a widow woman in Mud Creek call and say, there's a strange truck down at the other end of the property. And I went down to see about it, and it was, I knew who it was when I got there. It was a nephew. He was clearing brush, and so I got to put her mind at ease. And all that was done before, a deputy could even probably be dispatched. I mean, I could be there in 3 minutes. And if it had been something bad, well, I've got the training and the skills and the experience to handle that. But I look at our job as peace officers. We're not trying to enforce the law. We're trying to keep the peace. And I think it's a pretty peaceful place where I live. I live in Commissioner Brown's and Commissioner Hodges' district, and I think it's pretty peaceful. Don't have a lot of work to do.
Good example of what I was talking about, to not tie a deputy up.
To answer the question of the hours that we put in, I put in pretty much about the most hours. I tend to put in anywhere from 20 to 25 hours a week. And a lot of it is patrolling my districts. I do have districts 5, 8, and 9. I'm very familiar and good friends with Commissioner Frank Watkins, good friends with the sheriff. I've known the sheriff since he was a young man at the sheriff's
I have one question. Typical dress code is pretty much plain clothes because they put in fewer hours, and you sound like you put in quite a few hours.
Well, our dress code, which is in our policy procedures book that we have, we are authorized to wear the uniform that I have on, or the dress uniform that we do attend police funerals out of respect, and it has a line that goes down the pants. I do have another uniform for that. Everything that I have on me, I'm qualified to utilize, whether it be the pepper spray, the ass, and also a taser, which I do have in my vehicle, and I am taser certified. So, and the vehicle we have, we're authorized that. And there was one stipulation, I think, Mr. Hirschman brought up, about having our blue lights in our car. It depends on the population in the county, and I think, Executive Director Mangan can emphasize it.
Traditionally, constables have not worn uniforms, but Tennessee Code annotated does specify a uniform if we want to wear it.
I was thinking maybe if you only do it 2 or 3 hours a week or whatever, you just do plain clothes pretty much and display your badge or whatever. But now this gentleman right here, I think he's more into it, say 30, 40 hours a week sometimes and whatever. So it's typical, yeah, the typical dress.
And I wish I could do more than 2 or 3 hours a week, but
Yeah.
it doesn't cost the county anything what I do, so.
We understand that. But it's good that you're there when it's needed. That's the thing, yeah.
Okay, guys, I
Could I
think
make
we've
one more
allowed
statement?
you ample time. You got 2 minutes for closing arguments.
It won't take 2 minutes. If you choose tonight to keep this office as constable, if you have questions for your constables or even us as a TCA, we would be more than happy to set up a workshop with you guys and ladies and come down, sit with you, talk with you. Maybe even request your constables to come in to once a month or once a quarter to your commission meeting and say, hey, give us an update on what's going on in the county. What are you doing? And give them an opportunity, if that's your concern, give them a chance to prove themselves to you. Don't put them on the chopping block and cut their head off before they have a chance to prove themselves. Thank you so much, and I'll be happy to give any of you my number after the meeting tonight, and feel free to call me anytime. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and your trip over here. Okay, the floor is still open for discussion if anybody wants to speak to this. Wait a minute, Commissioner Nettles.
Thank you. I don't have a question. I just want to make a comment on my concerns. I was reading in something that was just recently put that Union County, Tennessee had a constable that was involved in a fatality crash that was initiated by him, and that county is currently being sued. He's being sued and that county's being sued. And it killed 3 people. And I looked, and it looks like he was sued again in 2023 for another crash. That concerns me. And I know you say, well, you know, that's never happened here, but never say never. But the constables are not utilized like they used to be. I think years ago when there was 1 or 2 deputies on the street at night, constables were utilized more. They're not utilized not just by the sheriff's department, but Tullahoma City or Manchester City. The agencies just don't utilize them. And unfortunately, they don't have the same training as a certified law enforcement officer. They may go to the amount of hours for like in-service type training, that an officer is required to have every year, the 100 hours, the 120 hours. Every year, officers are required to have those hours as refresher courses and updates on things that they do. But as far as being the same training that they do, it's not the exact same training. I feel like in the communities and things that we have, I feel like if there wasn't a constable and something was going on with one of our fellow neighbors, I feel like our neighbors would come and help regardless if there was a constable or not. I know I would. If a neighbor needed something, I would be happy to go out and help. My concern is definitely the liability issues with it. And I know that Union County that county commission ended up abolishing that seat. So I just wanted to share that.
So you have a motion to amend down there, girls? You gotta tell me, cause I can't see it, okay? The motion is by who? Commissioner Tim Brown, do you wish to amend this? Speak in your microphone, please.
Well, I mean, Laura had that was a good example, but I was gonna look up on Google how many times has a police officer caused an accident and killed somebody. I'm not against nobody, but I'm sure that's happened a lot too. But I think we should let the county residents make the decision on this. I don't think we should. They voted them in. I think they should vote them out.
Okay, as a technicality, you pushed your amend button, but you really wanted to make a statement, is that correct? Okay, sorry. Can you girls straighten that out? Tell me when we're back to the main motion. We are. Anybody wish to speak to this, push their RTS button, please. If not, we're ready to vote. I would like to say that the vote totals are not showing on our streaming. We've been noted, so anybody that's got a cell phone handy, turn around, take a picture of the screen. You can share it with people later, maybe. I announce the totals, but I don't announce the individuals. This motion has 8 yes, 10 no. It took a 2/3 majority, which was 12, which it did not. So the constables are still in business. Next item would be let's see, we moved 11 financial, or is 11A still, you didn't move it, right, Tim? Okay. I guess that would be you, Mariana.
In your agenda packet is the statement of cash flows, revenues, and expenditures. And this is for the period in April 30th, 2025, not May 12th. These are presented monthly to give you a snapshot of our cash in our bank accounts for each fund, and then budgetarily the revenues compared to the expenditures. Nothing to me is outstanding, but if y'all have any questions, just let me know. It's pretty much typical, but I'm sure we'll be speaking on this later in the packet on the agenda about the budget. Thank you.
Are we gonna, is that a vote item? Have you got that as a vote item, 11A? Okay. All right. 11B is the one you moved, is that correct? All right, so are we ready for 11C? I don't have my amended budget, agenda in front of me. We're 11C. Oh, does April, does you need to come up and present this? Come on.
Good evening. I have several budget amendments, so I guess I need to do individually each one. Is that how they're listed? So
Do you have them where we have to vote on them individually? Yeah.
okay, that's fine. Budget amendment 141, 2025-13. We have 2 state grants that we get every year. So this is the budget amendment just to clean up those grants. They're state grants, so they run through our state budget. So this is just the budget amendment to clean those up so we can close those out for the year. And this budget amendment does not affect our fund balance. And it was approved by Budget and Finance on May 29th.
Okay, the motion for 11C1 by Commissioner Morris, second by Commissioner Watkins. You wish to speak to it, Commissioner Morris? Okay. Any comments?
All of these budget amendments were approved by Budget and Finance.
Okay.
And none of them have anything to do with the director's salary or anything. None of that's in there.
We're ready to vote. (11C1) passes with 18 affirmative votes. 11C2.
Budget Amendment 141, 2025-14. Our SPED department is required to keep all of their SPED records for life. So our room is filling up and our high school room is filling up. So we have contracted with a digital records company to go ahead and start digitizing those records to free up space and also to keep those records to be able to keep those records for a lifetime. So this budget amendment is to move the funds in our current budget to take care of this project. We didn't have it in our current line, so this is to take care of that. And this budget amendment does not affect fund balance.
Any comments? Let's vote. (11C2) passes 18 yes affirmative votes. Thank you. 11C3.
Budget Amendment 141, 2025-15. The board approved to pay our technology director for his extra time he spends setting up our committee meetings because all of our meetings are televised, so he has to be there for the entire time. So this is to pay him for his extra hours. And this does not affect fund balance and approved by the Budget Finance.
Motion by Commissioner Benton Brown, seconded by Commissioner Hollingsworth. Any discussion? If not, vote. Amendment passes with 18 affirmative votes. 11C4.
I have this Budget Amendment 141, 2025-16. This is a donation that we received from Coffee County Education Foundation for our academic coaches to use on instructional materials. So this is to bring the revenue into our budget to purchase the materials that they need for instruction. And this does not affect fund balance.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Duncan, seconded by Commissioner Hollingsworth. Any discussion? Please vote. Approved with 18 affirmative votes. 11C5.
Budget Amendment 141, 2025-17. These are just normal moves. You can look at the bottom of your second sheet. These are just some normal moves in the budget where we need some additional funds based on current trends and estimation as we close out the school year. This budget amendment does not affect fund balance.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hollingsworth, seconded by Commissioner Hodge. Any discussion? Vote. 11C5 approved with 18 affirmative votes. 11C6.
Budget Amendment 141, 2025-18. This is for this is a state grant that we receive every year for our summer school program. We receive funding for K-8 to be able to provide summer instruction to our students, and then transportation funds to be able to get those students from their homes to the school. This is additional revenue. This is the budget amendment to bring that additional revenue into our budget, and it does not affect fund balance.
Motion by Commissioner Benton Brown, seconded by Commissioner Hodge. Any discussion? Vote. 11C6 approved with 18 affirmative votes. 11C7.
141, 2025-19. We received some additional funding from the state based on our test scores and some ASVAB scores, and so we have measuring tools that the state uses, and so based on our scores we can receive additional funding. So we did receive around $295,000 of funding for this school year that we are deemed to use for instructional purposes only, and so we have started using those funds in this current school year, and we will carry those funds over into a restricted fund for next school year to be able to finish the projects that we have started in this school year. So if you look at the bottom of your sheet, we were doing some additional training for our staff, and then we're providing some CTE support and ELA support for our schools to help our test scores for the next year, to hopefully keep increasing our funding so we can continue to provide more instruction and better instruction to our students. And this budget amendment does not affect fund balance.
Motion to approve 11C7 by Commissioner Hollingsworth, seconded by Commissioner Duncan. Any discussion? Vote, please. $11C7 it's been approved with 18 affirmative votes. 11C8.
141, 2025-20. Last school year, the board put aside, restricted some funds to be able to do some track improvements so we can host a track meet at home, because our track is unsafe and there's some things that we need to fix to be able to host a home meet. And then also they chose to look at our lighting at our fields to be able to install LED lighting at all of our athletic fields, especially at our football field. And so the board set aside some funds to be able to do that in our restricted fund last school year. So we have started working on those projects. We'll continue to work on those projects into the next few school years. This budget amendment is to start those projects. So you can look at the explanation. We have started working on the construction documents for the athletic lighting. And then we started the track improvement, started ordering some equipment, and started to getting some quotes on some of those improvements at the track. This budget amendment does affect our restricted fund balance. So if you look at the bottom of your sheet, after we take out that budget amendment, it brings our restricted fund balance to 8.3, and then it does not affect our unassigned fund balance.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Duncan, seconded by Commissioner Benton Brown. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. Amendment 11C8 has been approved with 18 affirmative votes. Thank you, April. Moving to 11D, Resolution 2025-13 to approve an economic impact plan. Have a motion by Commissioner Duncan, seconded by Commissioner Seaburn. Commissioner Duncan, you have the privilege to speak first. Commissioner Seaburn,
I believe there's some representatives here from Tullahoma to explain this. I'll defer to them first.
great. I would request, I think most people want to know about the dollars part of it. That's what I would like for you to concentrate on. How's the money going to work? Who's going to get it and when are they going to get it?
Yes, sir. Coffee County Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Get my glasses.
This is Mr. Winston Brooks, the infamous Winston Brooks.
I am Winston Brooks, the Executive Director for the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation, or TAEDC. My board is an industrial authority started in 2011 to leverage Tullahoma's strength, which is retail, aerospace, aviation, medical, and innovation and technology. And we work in close partnership with Coffee County and the Coffee County Industrial Board. In that time, we've won awards and had many successes that all of Coffee County and the region share in. And my board is appointed by the Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Aldermen. I'm excited to stand before you tonight at the start of a very productive partnership that will be an important part of Coffee County's development, which will include the money here. I'll get to that in just a moment. I want to introduce a couple of our City Administrator Jason Quick here, our Alderman Matthew Bird here, as well as the developers Chris Rudd and Kirsten Hobday in the audience. We also have our attorney Betsy Knotts, who has been representing our collective interest. What I plan to do is discuss the resolution we're asking you to approve, and we'll first talk about what problems are we solving, why should you care, and what do we risk if we don't approve this resolution, or if we don't take this action. Look at the specifics of the agreement, and then I'll take questions. I know you've been discussing the budget lately, and this is a project to grow the revenue side of the equation, which is one reason I mentioned I was excited to talk about this great opportunity. So first, what problem are we solving? So I think we can all agree that Coffee County has been discovered as a great place to work and live. There's organic growth and industrial multipliers like the Arnold Air Force Base, which is in the middle of a $4 billion expansion with the result of an estimated 500 to 700 new employees that will be here in the future. We're also familiar with the I-24 industrial site that will create thousands of jobs. In 2020, a housing study showed we needed 1,000 units of housing in Tullahoma. There's not been an apartment built in Tullahoma since the early 80s, and this will continue to meet that need. This will allow our workforce to live in Coffee County. So for example, in Tullahoma, 79% of the workers commute. And at Arnold, most of the workforce commutes from Murfreesboro, and you can understand that when the commander talks about a child getting sick, an employee has to lose 40 minutes to drive and check on that child, and your productivity goes way down. So we are solving the need for housing, which in this case supports national defense. Another problem in Tullahoma that I like to say, and it's also a problem for Coffee County, is the good news is that all of our commercial space is full. The bad news is all our commercial space is full. This development will add new commercial space for the many retailers that want to locate in Coffee County. And Tullahoma Utilities Authority has utility capacity. It's our greatest incentive, and this development is on a state 4-lane highway. This is the best place for development in Coffee County, and then one that was agreed upon by our community. Why should you care? The property and sales tax revenue will be generated and come to Coffee County. Housing to support our growth in our workforce, and the county will have to provide few services to the Summerlin development. And this is slow, controlled growth. This is the kind of growth that we want with the growth that we're going to see in the future. Now, if we don't act, what's at risk, okay? All of the above, loss of credibility with the developers, and the developers' investment in Coffee County. So let's take a look where we've been. First, the City of Tullahoma, the Tullahoma Economic Development Corporation Board have passed this resolution and this agreement unanimously. And we have also spoken to the Budget and Finance Committee. They also provided a unanimous favorable recommendation to this board, and we now submit it to the Coffee County Commission with a recommendation to approve. I'll give a little context and then look at the partnership we're asking this board to approve. Now, Tullahoma is no strangers to tax increment financing. We've also, remember the Northgate Mall project that you guys were great partners in, and that has been very beneficial for the entire county in terms of the sales tax that it has created. Tax increment financing is a common economic development tool that's used across the country, especially in vibrant communities. And you'll understand that in a minute why that is so in just a second. This agreement has been vetted by many people, including the top economic development attorneys in the state. I mentioned Betsy Knotts with Bass, Berry & Sims used to work for the State Economic Development Department in the Incentives Department with tax increment financing and pilots for many, many years. And also Tom Trent with Bradley Arent representing the developers. The property was rezoned for the development in 2023. The developer completed an application for the financing, and my board directed that developer to conduct an economic impact plan. This analysis of the project is an extensive study that shows the economic impact of the plan over the lifetime of the development from construction jobs, growth of sales tax, and growth of property tax, and other sources of revenue. Now, this estimates $12.4 million of new tax revenue to the county over the life of the project, and then once the project is completed, once the agreement ends, the county will see approximately $1.5 million coming into the property tax to the general fund. This is a 60-40 split. Most of these agreements that are sharing the increment are 100% to the developer, so this is a very fair deal. Well, let's take a quick look at how tax increment financing works. This is authorized by state law and is widely used across the country, as I mentioned. Now, I handed this out to everyone here, and we'll move through this pretty quickly. But first of all, you have to establish a TIF district, and if you can see it, everyone can see the highlighted area there, the concept drawing. It's also down here. So that's the district. And it also shows that there's going to be 996 residential units there, 336 apartment units, 336 townhomes, and 330 single-family residential homes. Very nice community, amenities, trails, clubhouses, and pools, right? So it's going to be a place where young people, young professionals, and come live. And we all want to see our young people come back to Coffee County for the jobs that are going to be here. So now, the next thing you do is you freeze the property values. And that, if you look at the little diagram there, you see a yellow portion. Keep in mind, that's the tax increment, okay? And the bottom part of it says baseline property value. So you freeze the property value, and so this district that you're seeing here represents $5,000 a year in property tax. Okay. Then you complete this agreement and you begin to capture the incremental taxes. So when the developer comes in and begins to build the improvements and put in the infrastructure, and oh, by the way, this agreement is only to pay for public infrastructure, okay? Streets, roads, sewers, sidewalks, everything's going to be dedicated over to the city later on. Okay, it's $18.4 million is the cap on that maximum contribution to put in the infrastructure. That's all that's paying for. So when this is completed, when they begin to put that in, it's at the bottom of that little yellow triangle you see. So slowly as they build, the value goes up and up, and as it gets reassessed, there's the increment that's captured, the revenue. Now the developer is going to pay that revenue directly into the coffers. This agreement says that the county and the city will then share that revenue back to the developer to help pay for the infrastructure, the public infrastructure. And then as that goes forward, you repay the development cost. And that's tax increment financing in a nutshell. And so that yellow box there represents approximately $12.4 million based on the economic impact plan that was done as part of the application process. And again, it was a very detailed look at the economic activity that's generated from the construction of this development. So you can see why it's so used so often in vibrant, growing communities, because you're able to take that future tax, turn it back in, and allows the developer then, with this agreement, it becomes a bankable agreement that they can then get loans from to build this development. Let's see. The benefits, the project is expected to promote economic development in this area by providing retail, residential, and recreational opportunities that will draw residents and visitors to the county. It's anticipated that the project will become a catalyst for further development of the surrounding area. And by the way, this is north of Lowe's. If you didn't know that, I should explain that a little bit more. Just north of Regalton, all the way up to the Moore County line. The project will create a significant number of construction jobs during the construction of the project. And it also just, one of the notes in there is that the economic impact plan requires the developer to purchase 40% of materials locally, as just one example of the local construction impact. So the timeline, this has to be started in about, everything has to be started within 8 years. If we can get this approved tonight, the developer's going to start turning dirt later this year. There's no recourse to the county. There's not a loan. The only person that takes on the recourse and the liability is the developer. And the way that the state law is read, that this is a self-policing project, right? So if there's no growth, you just keep getting the $5,000 that you're always getting. But if it starts to going up and it creates revenue, then that's when the agreement kicks in. You'll continue to retain the base taxes and the sales tax. And as I mentioned, it's the $5,000 and then that. And it's also a reimbursement project. So the developer has to provide receipts before any money is turned over. I'll pause here and I'll ask if there's any need for clarification. Yes, sir.
Please speak into your microphone, please.
Was this land woodland or farmland, or was it several houses bought up together to get this
Yes, sir, that's a
section
great
together?
question. This land is commonly referred to as the Stone Farm, and I believe it was 2 parcels. Most of it was one parcel. It's about 200 acres, and there was a smaller portion too, but it was just 2 parcels is what we're representing.
And you mean by the rock farm, it had rocks on it, or?
No,
Stone.
The Stone was a family.
Daniel Stone.
Yes, sir.
That's who owned it.
And in this development, are you going to save a portion for a park for all the squirrels and animals you run off this?
Well, so there's a conveyance here through the center of the development, and that's why it's not developed there. And if you look closely, there's trails along the creek, and so it's sort of a vertical park. The commercial space will be up here, 50,000 square feet of retail, and then the apartments, townhomes, and the single-family homes are back further towards it.
And that wasn't a joke, it was a serious question about the wild.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Winston?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hertzman, you have the floor.
So on this where it says attack increment financing, right above your little chart,
Yes, sir.
it says the city retains the 40% of the new taxes. Is that not the county?
This county retains 40%, and the
Okay.
city retains 40%. The county's portion is 12.4.
I just wanted to.
Yes, sir, I'm
Just wanted
sorry.
to
I
clarify.
should have, my apologies on that.
Winston, did we get actual dollar figures? Did you, I think you did, but I think did we talk about the actual amount of revenue that the county's gonna get while the project's going on?
So the projected amount of revenue based on the economic impact plan analysis over the life of the project is an additional $12.4 million. At the end of their agreement, it'll be $1.5 million approximately every year.
And talk about the school dollars for just a moment. Did we end up with that in the agreement, that we were gonna keep the school portion?
So the way that their agreement is written is that the county can use their portion for any type of infrastructure that they want.
Any more questions for Winston?
It's really a great legacy, a great project, so.
Commissioner Miller, you have the floor.
Is this essentially the same project that was gonna be behind Macon Manor? It's not the same group, but is it similar to what they were gonna do there?
Well, it's a similar size. It was a similar type of living experience, I guess you could say, quality of life. I mean, it's gonna be a nice residential more the new style. It's not like it's gonna be a mixed-use development, but it's not related to that at all. It's just coincidence that, as I was saying, Coffee County's been discovered, there are a lot of people wanting to be here.
Yeah, I was just asking, is it similar to the thing?
I think it's probably similar to this on scope, yeah. I mean, I can't remember how many residential units were planned on the other one, but if you think of, can't think, I don't really know the name of a good example of another, the developer has done these types of developments in other counties and regions. I can't think of the name. West Haven is one of them, and Franklin, and I don't know of an example that might be good to. Chris, do you know of a good example that they might know of this would be similar to? We can get you, they have concept drawings and of what these things look like. We can provide that information. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Any more questions for Winston? I have one. When do you anticipate the real estate will actually transfer ownership?
So
the real estate, when will the real estate, there's an option on it now, right?
Yes, sir. I believe that will happen sooner rather than later, and as soon as this is approved, then that will happen. I don't know the time frame. Next month.
July, okay.
July, yes, sir.
Any more discussion?
I'll just make a couple comments and then I'll be done. But Winston and his board have been working on this for probably about 2 years. Is that about right? About 2 years?
Yes.
Which is about the same amount of time it took us the previous time we did one of these for the mall redevelopment. So there's a lot of detail work that goes into this sort of thing, and we've always hired, every time we've considered one, lawyers with expertise in this particular area, and Winston and the board has hired legal counsel with expertise in this area. So all these agreements you're seeing have worked out and been vetted pretty well. When we did the mall, one of the things we were focused on was not just the benefit that was going to come to the mall, which it did, and when you drive through Tullahoma now, you can see that. But it made all the area around the mall grow as well. And the advantage of the property tax increments, like we're foregoing some future property tax we might not ever even get, and we instantly got sales tax. And when Publix came in especially, that was huge sales tax. When you see this property go in and you see all that empty property across the street from it, it's going to instantly light a fire to put more retail on that end of town, and we're going to get all of that benefit immediately. We won't have to wait the 20 years on that. So we're not only getting the benefit that Winston's talking about, but we're going to get a sales tax boon to boot, and that's the purpose of doing this. Appreciate your support for Tullahoma and for Coffee County.
Commissioner Reed, you have the floor.
Lynn, I'm worried about the infrastructure with the rain. I mean, the mall floods now. Have you looked over these plans with him, Commissioner Lynn?
Are you asking me? I haven't looked over that, but our planning and codes department, that's their job to do that. I mean, the mall was a redevelopment in an existing area. This is a new build, and they have to meet all of our requirements for flood control under our current regs. Now, if that doesn't happen, that's on our department. But their plan that they bring, and those probably aren't even finished yet, are they? That'll be part of the development process. They'll have to have approval on all of their plats and their engineering. And I agree with you, but that's something, as a mayor, I'm looking towards improving over the next few years. Is drainage. We got drainage issues all over the city. It's a disadvantage of living in a somewhat flat city.
My house is flooded twice.
Yeah, I know. So I'll talk to you about that sometime, but we'll definitely be focusing on those sort of things as we go forward with the development.
Is it okay if,
Can I just,
City Administrator?
I don't want to answer, could I answer Commissioner Miller's question for a second?
Yes, sir.
It's not Anderson Farms, and I'll tell you the difference, and I kind of had mentioned this before. There you go. It's in a lot better place. It's not going to impact an established neighborhood. It's not going to put any pressure. Yeah. As far as the development, what it looks like, I think there are a lot of similarities to it. And I want to go back to the infrastructure. One of the great things about this is being on Highway 41. The infrastructure, it can already take on the traffic flow that's going to come from that. Anderson Farms, when you hear that, sometimes in Tullahoma you get those alarms, but I feel very comfortable that this is going to be a whole different experience. And to answer your other question about infrastructure from a stormwater or wastewater, or definitely stormwater, Our Public Works Department is working very closely and will continue to work very closely with them on making sure that the stormwater is correct and we don't have any kind of drainage issues whatsoever.
Any more questions? Discussion. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Mr. Brooks, I believe that I understood you to say that this project would mean jobs for the people of Coffee County, construction-wise and otherwise. And I thought I heard you say something about the materials for building that were going to be purchased. Did you say they're going to be local purchases and that we would prefer that the people that are manning these construction jobs would be local people so that it truly, truly is a benefit to Coffee County?
Yes, there's an agreement in there where they're going to purchase 40% of the materials locally, and then there's also an agreement in there to try to steer jobs to local contractors and construction work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any more questions? If not,
I have one more.
Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
My question would be for our attorney. Has our attorney reviewed this agreement and proposal that we have before us?
Yes, ma'am, I have. And it appears to comply with all the required TIF requirements.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we're ready to vote on this approval. This economic impact plan in partnership with Tullahoma has been approved with 18 affirmative votes. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Winton. Okay, the next one, we have a motion. This would be item 11E, motion by Commissioner DeFord, seconded by Commissioner Benton Brown. I'm going to invite District Attorney Craig Northcott to the lectern. Commissioner DeFord, while he's walking, do you have anything you want to say about it? You have the privilege to speak first.
First, thank you for the motion, and thank you for the second. It's pretty straightforward. In this latest legislative session, our General Assembly recognized that there have been a decrease in alternative funding for DA's offices over the years. Certain things have been removed, like the diversion fund that no longer is available to DA's office to supplement the work that we have to do for public safety. Other things like the Economic Crime Fund have been greatly depressed because it was largely based upon bad checks, and you can probably guess how many bad checks we actually prosecute these days. So these type of funds that were used to be available to us are no longer available to us, certainly not in the degree that it was. This is simply a $12.50 fee on every misdemeanor and felony committed. That's paid by the defendant. There's no cost to the county. It's just trying to generate funds for public safety use by my office to do the work that we do by adding a fee that the defendants pay. We do, in a lot of ways, the same job. Y'all look out for the interest of the county. I look out for the interest of the county. Y'all have to look forward to what's coming ahead and try to get in front of it before there's problems. I have to do the same thing. As we've heard here today, growth is coming. we're not gonna get away from it. Our population is growing, and it's gonna continue to grow. With that comes more crime. With that comes other issues. Every single criminal case that comes through the criminal justice system is handled in Coffee County, is handled by my office. I'm one of 7 attorneys in the office. We currently, at our, currently average somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 criminal cases that we handle every year. Thankfully, up to now, the state has been able to fund all the positions that I have needed to do that work. But I see an issue that's coming. I look at my colleagues who have counties that are just slightly bigger than ours, who now have to go to the county and ask for funding, for positions, for training, for equipment, for those type of things from the county for their offices. Many counties are funding nearly half of the district attorney's office budget. I don't want to have to come to you guys and ask for that. And I want to be able to get ahead of that coming problem. And this is one way that we can do it. And this is one way that the General Assembly has allowed us to try to get in front of those problems that are coming. Governor Lee signed this into law on May 5th. And if y'all vote by at least a 2/3 vote for this to be assessed, $12.50 fee will be assessed as a court cost to every conviction for a misdemeanor or felony in Coffee County. Ms. Anthony was up here before. I fully recognize there's going to be logistics that have to happen to be able to start collecting that. I certainly don't have any problem in amending the resolution if y'all would accept an amendment to that resolution to make it effective as of July 1st. Certainly have no objection to that, to give her the time to get that entered into her system. So that is what I'm asking for, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Did I understand you to say that the $12.50 would only be assessed on the cases that were found guilty?
Yes, ma'am. It's on convictions only.
Thank you.
Any more questions for our district attorney? Commissioner Smith, you have the floor.
Do you have an anticipated amount that you think this is going to bring your office? You said 7,500 to 10,000 criminal cases a year, so is that what you're basing it off of?
We do not collect fees on every single case. Often the court will waive fees for a variety of reasons, indigency being the main one. So it is not an easy math to do. The Public Defender's Office has had the ability to get this same fee for many, many years. This body approved that fee for the Public Defender's Office 8 to 10 years ago. I believe, and Ms. Anthony may be able to correct me here, but I believe it generates about $30,000 a year. Is that about right? It should be about $30,000. It should be approximately the same.
Okay, before we go any farther in question and answers, Commissioner Miller wishes to make an amendment. State your amendment, please.
It sounds like I would like to make an amendment to the resolution to make it July.
Okay. We have an amendment to the resolution making the effective date, if it passes tonight, the effective date would be July 1, 2025. Is that correct, your amendment, Commissioner Miller? We have a second by Commissioner Watkins. Commissioner Benton Brown, you wish to speak to this amendment?
Yes, I just would like to ask Ms. Anthony if July 1st would actually be enough time to get your technology ready for this.
every single county district, the funds will go into the trustee's office and will stay within the county.
I just want Miss Anthony to have enough time
Sure.
to get everything done where she's not getting hit in the side of the head.
I was just in fear because it said effective immediately, and I thought, well, that's not really possible.
Yeah, you guys I know will work together to make it happen. Any more questions or discussion on this amendment, changing the date? If not, we'll vote on amending the effective date of this resolution. The amendment to make the effective date July 1, 2025 has passed with 18 affirmative votes. Now we're ready for the main motion as amended. Is there any discussion on the main motion? Anybody have any more questions for the district attorney? Any more discussion? We're ready to vote on the main motion to approve as amended. This does take a 2/3 vote, which is 12. The motion passes with 18 affirmative votes.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you, District Attorney Northcott. Okay. We'll be sure to write July 1 effective on this resolution when we're signing it. Okay? Okay, now we're ready for 11F. Modification to the Coffee County Commission procedural rules, change Rule 2, Section G from 5 days to 48 hours. This motion to approve by Commissioner Reed, seconded by Commissioner Stubblefield. Commissioner Reed, you have the privilege to speak first. Mr. Stubblefield, you wish to speak to it? Okay. This is, we are amending our rules, changing the rules, so this requires 2/3, our parliamentarian has told me. Are you set up for that? You're good? Okay. Any discussion? This is to coincide with TCA, which requires the 48 hours. Our policy and procedures, does anybody from policy and procedures wish to speak to it?
And this only applies to agenda notice.
Correct. Anybody, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. The motion passes 17 affirmative and 1 no vote. All agendas for committees and the commissions and boards must be posted 48 hours prior to the meeting. Okay, 11G. Yes, 11G. This is, if you got this in your notebook, you'll see the, this is what you're looking at is a letter or document of acknowledgement that every single Coffee County employee must sign prior to employment. This is a TCA requirement. This document used to be, if you look at paragraph B, a violation of this section is a Class E felony. That line used to say Class A misdemeanor. So all the records all the records of acknowledgement by Coffee County employees have to be upgraded to this. It's a Tennessee state law, so we're just acknowledging that by voting to change that, meaning all employees are gonna have to sign a new document acknowledging the fact that this is now felony. This law was changed in 2019, I think, and we were just unaware of it. So, motion by Commissioner Stubblefield, seconded by Commissioner Morris to approve this document acknowledging TCA law. You wish to speak to it, Commissioner Stubblefield? Anybody discussion? If there's none, we're ready to vote on 11G. Motion passes with 17 affirmative and 1 negative vote. Resolution 2025-12, that's 11H on your agenda. Resolution to amend our zoning resolution. This is a recommendation from our planning commission for 50-foot side rear yard setbacks in the A1 district only. This was approved by unanimous vote on the planning commission. Motion by Commissioner Hirschman, seconded by Commissioner Smith. You wish to speak to this, Commissioner Hirschman? Okay. Is there any discussion? There being none, we're ready to vote. This motion passes with 14 votes affirmative, 4 no votes. Thank you for that. Now we're ready for 11I. Is that correct? This is preliminary budget worksheet. Is that Rowan? We've moved 11B down to 11I, right? Okay. Is this just a presentation? We're not actually voting on this, right? Okay, discussion. Who wants to go first?
So the preliminary budget presentation, this is just the various funds that the Budget and Finance Committee has been working through. There will be changes, I'll just say that. So, but this reflects the vote, the approval that was made at last Thursday's Budget and Finance meeting, because normally, we do 2 meetings in June. This one to present the budget so you have time to study it, excuse me, before the actual vote on June 24th. So this is just a preliminary of where we are currently and the items that were discussed and approved, salary increases, those types of things. They're listed underneath each department as, it just says 5% and 2%. Because that is what we decided we would try to do 5 and then 2 in January. So I just wanted to put that out there for you to look at, and obviously everybody is welcome to come to the meeting Thursday night, and then we have another one the following Tuesday. So if anyone has any questions, currently.
Does
and-
anybody have any questions for our budget director, Mariana? It's a lot to look at.
I have one.
Sure. Commissioner Brown, Benton Brown.
Are we gonna be in the black? Are we gonna, once everything's done, are we going to have a balanced budget? Is my first question. Are we paying our bills? Everything's good there. My second question is, I've gotten several phone calls from county employees, on the pay raises. I want what's best for the county, but also when I ran for this seat, I want to pay our employees to stay here and not hire them and train them and send them somewhere else. So is the number that's been presented a number that's going to keep our employees here and not send them somewhere else? That's my question, and anybody's free to answer that.
I think built into this, what you're looking at right now is 5% now and 2% in January. But being in the black, no. Not with what we've got right on the floor right now. Last year we voted 2.1 or 2.2 with a deficit, hoping that we would come even in June, and we have not come even in June. We're about $940,000 short on last year's budget. We took a chance, it didn't work. So we're 940, and that will come out of the fund balance to cover that, which lowers that fund balance. The other night, and numbers have changed, but the other night we were somewhere between 2.4 and $3 million short. And I'm a county resident. I pay taxes. My kids are going to inherit this place. All of our grandchildren are. And I couldn't. Even the mayor threw out something about taxes and stuff, and everybody's no on taxes. But one thing I did several years ago, and this is just to throw this out there, probably 6-8 years ago, they named the budget Tim Morris's budget because I froze. I said, okay, let's just freeze it. We have to live by our means. County does. People that live here do. If somebody loses a job, you have to cut stuff back. And this is just Tim Morris's option, is to go back to last year's budget and the expenditures of $28,600,000, add $400,000 to that to cover increased expenses, payroll taxes, things like that, which gets us to $29 million if we freeze it. Now, it may not freeze right there. It may up, down, but it's sure going to be lower than the 30-something million. When you take the revenue that is expected for this year, and it could be low, it's $28,049,946. And the other night during Budget and Finance, there was a vote taken to remove $670,000 of TVA money from the school system and put it back into our general fund. The sheriff also offered or came up with a way to give us $450,000 out of his SRO money. When you add that and the TVA money together, plus our expended revenues, we're at, let me get to my numbers again. I'm right at $600,000 short that way. A lot of people have looked at this budget. There's little bitty things that you can hack and slash if we stay with this budget. I would encourage everybody to come Tuesday. If you have something to talk about tonight, I'm more than sitting here because we've spent a lot of time with her trying to find ways to cut things.
I have another one, it's for Mariana, if she can answer it for me. How much total money is in the fund balance right now? $10.9 million, and that's in the fund balance right now. Okay.
Anybody got any more statements or comments? Mary Anna works pretty hard on this budget every year. Commissioner Morris is our chairman of our budget and finance. I'd like to state publicly that he receives a lot of grief because he's a county employee, but he's probably the most vocal conservative voice on our budget and finance committee. And I appreciate the work he does on that, and I hope each one of y'all do too. Other than that, the Budget and Finance Committee is still at work on this, you know, so the next meeting will be Thursday of this week, correct? Yeah, so if anybody's got any suggestions, ideas, or whatever, 9 of you are on Budget and Finance, 9 of you are not. If you're not on it, you probably ought to attend. That'd be my suggestion. And if you would, Commissioner Tim Brown, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, that's just a comment. I know the county's short on money, and every employee needs a pay raise. I worked for the county years ago for nothing. That's the reason I quit. But is there a possibility, and I know people's going to get mad over it, to pay the small person, just the people that's way underpaid? Because if we pay everybody, everybody's still going to climb the ladder the same way. Can you just pay the lower paid employees and get them caught up a little bit? Is that possible?
Budget and Finance can take your comments and recommendations in their meeting. You're on it. You're one of them. You're on it. So, anybody else got any comments?
I'd like to say something. One more thing.
Commissioner Benton Brown.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but the goal of the county is not to become a bank, so to speak. We have money. Yes, something could go wrong. We need to repair the high school. It's going to cost a whole lot of money, whatever. We've got $10 million in the fund balance. Commissioner Moore says we're going to have to dip into that to get into the black. What my only opinion, and I'm going to say this out loud, obviously, Bonnaroo going on, I will not be able to make that meeting Thursday, but I will voice it, my opinion here. What's wrong with dipping in it a little deeper and taking care of our employees? I'm not suggesting anything bad. There's 18 people in here. Everybody has an opinion. This is mine. $10 million sits in that bank. It's drawing interest. Why not take a little bit extra and take care of the people that we've got?
I guess I can go back to the history of me and me being on the commission, and I've had a lot of very knowledgeable men and women, I guess, tutor me or talk to me about it that were commissioners too. And one of the things that was always drilled in my head as I sit back there where Lynn sits now is that you don't pay for reoccurring expenses out of your fund balance, because if you hit it this year for $2 million and we hit it next year for $2 million, before you wake up, there's just $2 million left.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm just giving my opinion. I've been in this chair for 6 months.
And I appreciate it, and just like mine. Mine's just
So-
1 out of 18 votes. We're going to hit it for 900 and something right now to cover last year's budget.
No, I get that it's a recurring balance, like Mr. Hirschman said, and next year we're going to have to come up with the money to pay for those raises. I get that, but this is my thoughts. I mean,
Well, and the one thing that I did, and this is just me, I took us back to last year's budget, but I gave everybody 5%, not 7, 5, and it put us at right at $600,000 in the hole with a 5% raise. Plus, that's given the volunteer fire department, the rescue squad, their money of last year. Everybody would start with last year's budget, so you're not cutting out any of the civil defense in Tullahoma or the civil air patrol in Tullahoma. They're still in last year's budget. So everybody would stay the same. You would stay stagnant except for our employees, and they would get the 5% raise. And yes, they are going to get somewhere, there is a cost of living allowance going in for their insurance, but it will not eat up their raise. Even if it's 5%, it's not going to eat up a raise like some people think. That 5% on $100 is going to be $5, where 5% on a $40,000 income is $2,000. So you can't put both of those together and call them 5%. It's a wash. They're still getting a raise that way.
I have a question.
I'm tracking. We're good. I'm tracking.
I have a question. Tim, you may be able to answer this. The money in the fund balance, that continues to grow and grow and grow. Is the comptroller's office okay with that? I mean, do they want us to continue not to spend that money? I mean, what is the rule on that?
We have a fund balance policy that details what level we need to maintain in our fund balances.
What do they require you to maintain?
It is at our discretion, as long as it's within reason, obviously. But currently, our fund balance, we cannot go below 12.5% of budgeted expenditures. So currently, that is about $4 million that we must maintain in the general fund. Now, obviously, we have more than that because I'm very frugal. I've always been that way. I don't budget everything. I don't budget every revenue. I look at years, just data that's coming in and, budget appropriately. And also, I do want to say on the individual department budgets, you have to remember quite a few of the smaller ones, they either have salaries or maintenance agreements, and that's it. So it's very difficult. Not that I'm saying about Tim Morris's plan, but you have to remember that our software maintenance agreements have gone up quite a bit. Mine was 10% this year. So I just want to say that we have to be cautious and aware of that because operating's not going down. Gas, utilities all have gone up. So we just have to look at that when we're looking at these departments. So.
Anybody else? Anybody else got a comment, statement, suggestion?
So we in statements and announcements right now?
No. We got 11J. It's open for discussion, 11J. I don't reckon we're voting on it.
Are we on J now?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thursday night at Budget and Finance, it passed with me abstaining because I'm a school employee to remove the TVA money from the school budget. It hasn't become, I don't think it's active.
Explain TVA money right quick.
The TVA money is the Tennessee Valley Authority money that's distributed to all the counties in the state of Tennessee. It is already ADA'd within our county. That means Tullahoma has gotten their TVA money, Manchester has gotten their TVA money, and Coffee County has received their TVA money. Each entity, each city and the county can do with, I don't know what Tullahoma does with theirs and don't know what Manchester does. I know since 2004, the county has given that money to the school system to operate on. I don't know if April's still here. She needs to know, are we going to take that away right now so she can do some things with their budget? Because they've not been notified, and to wait until 2 weeks from tonight and drop a bomb on them, I don't know what they would do.
Repeat that dollar amount again that we're talking about?
$670,000.
600. Commissioner Seaborn?
Just a question, is that under maintenance of effort?
No, that's the only thing it is not under maintenance of effort. But, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
It's discretionary, right? We can choose whether we
Yes.
give it or not.
Yes,
Right,
I
okay.
mean, it's already been 88, so no. I did want to also say, I know I personally have some other ideas that will help the schools that I want to discuss Thursday night. That I know everybody panicked, but I mean, that is county general fund money that we have given to them all these years. And, you know, we need to periodically look at that. So I'll just say that, and we'll talk about it Thursday night in more detail.
Okay, I don't think we can actually vote on that tonight. The Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously to retain it, correct? Okay. Moving, go ahead, Tim Stubblefield.
Yes.
Correct. Yes, we had the Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously to retain the 600 and something thousand TVA money. The school system needs to know. I don't know how we can tell her to I would, if it was me, April, I'd start moving towards amending your budget without it. Then, if it does not pass this full legislative body, when we are approving the full budget, you get it anyway. That's the way I would look at it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. But I know Budget Finance has approved to retain that money, and that will be part of the budget as approved by this full legislative body, hopefully June the 23rd. Is that our next meeting? 24th, sorry. So we're trying to get this budget put together and passed by June the 24th.
Doesn't that have to go through the full commission, though, to be approved before we do that? Yes, okay, I'm just asking.
Anybody else want to make any comments or suggestions? I would say show up at the Budget Finance meeting Thursday night if you feel like you need to make comments regarding this. But April, if I was you, I'd be trying to work without it because the budget I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Sure, come on.
So our board approved with that revenue for us to go into fund balance around 1.3 to be able to give our employees a 4% increase. So for me to amend our budget, that would have to go back to our full board, which means that I would have to revise our entire budget, and we'd have to call a special call meeting before our board for them to approve it, and then again present it to Budget and Finance, and then for it to be in the commission's vote on June the 24th. Just feel like, I don't know, and we've had some discussions in our office on how we would accomplish that. At this time, there's not a plan, so I don't know what that looks like, and I feel like it would be really hard for us to meet that deadline. And that's just on how, because we have no idea where, I don't think our board will approve us to go $2 million in fund balance to move forward with a 4% increase. I don't know that, but it was very hard to get a 1.3 pass through our board. So.
Is that where you are right now?
Yes, sir.
1.3?
With the 671,000 in
With
our budget.
I
Yes, sir.
see.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to say that's kind of our process. It has to go through our board. We'd have to call a special meeting. I would obviously have to amend that budget, and that's pretty time consuming. So I just wanted to lay that out there. And I think we will plan to attend Thursday's meeting to talk through that some more. So.
It's one conundrum creating another conundrum, I think. We're trying to make things happen over here, and,
Yes, sir.
you know, I don't have an answer for it, I really don't.
How much
I
do you
just
have, how much do you have in your fund balance?
In our unassigned, we have 12 million. But we also will add that, I don't know if y'all have been following a lot of the federal dollars could be cut. So we do have some employees that we would look to have to pay for we have some federal employees that we would have to move to our general fund. That is not currently in our budget right now. So that could also hit us for around 500,000 that we currently don't have in our budget. So there's a lot of things going on with the school budgets right now that are uncertainty, and so I just wanted to mention a few
Thank
things.
you.
You're welcome.
Anybody got any comments? I can't hear you.
She'll save hers for Thursday.
I'm ready for the standing committees.
Okay, the
If
standing
anybody's got-
committees, Budget and Finance, Commissioner Tim Morris, do you have anything?
Yes, ma'am, we're meeting Thursday, goodness, it's Tuesday, right? We're meeting Thursday night at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, okay. Capital Outlay, Commissioner Hirschman?
We didn't have a meeting this month, but we are meeting next month on, I believe that's the, had it here a minute ago. Be on the 3rd, 4 o'clock.
Thank you. HWR, Commissioner Hollingsworth?
Yeah, I'd refer you to the minutes. Our next meeting is Thursday, June 26th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner DeFord?
We were going to meet in June, but that's been rescheduled to July 3rd. The June meeting conflicts with Budget and Finance, and I know some people need to be there.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you. Legislative Committee, Commissioner Watkins?
Nothing to report, no meeting scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Policy and Procedures, Commissioner Hirschman?
We have a meeting on Monday at 5 o'clock on the 16th. So anybody like to join us, come on out.
Thank you. That concludes the standing committees.
Okay, on statements and announcements, I would like to say that we met at the Animal Control Facility for a construction update meeting, and the base material is in place for the main structure. It's moving right along. Guys are moving right along. You went out to the Health Department today, is that correct, Commissioner Hirschman?
That's correct.
You gotta give us an update.
I actually went to both facilities, and they're dewatering a lot there at the animal health facility, so that is coming along. At the health department, they're already pouring footings on the right-hand side of the building has been poured. They're gonna try to do some this week on the back side, but that is progressing very well right now. I went ahead and did an inspection while I was out there. Everything's looking pretty good so far.
Anything else, Commissioner Seaburn?
So I have a comment and an announcement. So I just wanted to thank everyone on this TIF proposal, and Winston has already left, but I wanted to mention, Winston's worked with the city now for many years, and he's worked for the TADC for the past several years. He's worked on this project for about 2 years. Tomorrow's Winston's last day with TADC and with the city of Tullahoma. He has taken a new job over in Chattanooga doing economic development over there. His son, I think his son graduated high school this year, and he loves being over there, and he got a great offer from the city of Chattanooga. So this was his last hurrah, what you saw tonight. So I appreciate everybody's, if you see Winston, thank him. He's done great work for us, and we're going to miss him. In a similar vein, this is my last night on the commission tonight. I've been saying for months I was going to get off the commission and go do the job of mayor a little better than hopefully I've been doing. So I've got a letter of resignation sitting here with me, so y'all can hopefully look forward to appointing somebody to my seat. It's been a pleasure serving with everyone. I've learned a ton on this job, done this about 6.5 years, and wish I could keep doing it, but it's just not adequate time to do everything you want to do. So appreciate everyone's support, and thank you for the time together.
We certainly have appreciated your service.
I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Seaborn, a newlywed. So I'd like to congratulate you on that as well.
Yeah, he and,
That requires a little extra time, too.
yeah, he changed Tiffany Clutter's last name legally. One other thing, Commissioner Hirschman, tell everybody about the welcome signs.
As you know, we had approved welcome signs on the approximately, I believe it was 11 or 14. Anyway, we've already approved the purchase of signs for the county. The mayor and I have met with TDEC, and there's a new statute out right now that they're researching to find out if we can indeed install welcome signs at the county lines. Right now they have got them stopped, but they're going to wait. They're going to check with higher up in their division and get a ruling on it to find out if we can continue on with that project.
TDOT was here.
Yes.
TDOT was here regarding bridge construction in Coffee County out at Highway 127, and the individual we've been dealing with out of Chattanooga, Landon Castleberry, said bad news. He's found they don't think they're going to let us do it. So we'll see. Anything else? Any other statements or announcements?
I'd like to say that Bonnaroo's here and people are on Facebook griping about the traffic and stuff. But tomorrow, Thursday, those people will be in the farm.
Pretty much.
If you're from Manchester, don't go off and leave your restaurant empty this weekend. I have a friend who works for one of the restaurants here, and he says it's like a ghost town. You will be able to move around Manchester Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because those people stay in the farm. Go eat with your friends here in Manchester. Spend your money here.
Good idea.
Mr.
You're gonna need to pull up a vote screen for adjournment,
Mr. Mayor.
please.
Mr. Mayor. Just a second.
Commissioner Benton Brown.
Mr. Morris brought up Bonnaroo. I would like to say traffic today was terrible. However, we're getting them in. Traffic's moving. Please be patient. For anybody who's out watching in TV land, please be patient. It is hot. All of our officers are on the road. They're doing the best they can. Thank them instead of yelling at them because they're standing on the pavement and you're in your air-conditioned car. And like Mr. Moore said, once they get in, they're in. So go spend some money at J&G or go to Tullahoma and spend some money down there, do something, but don't leave town because we still got to pay the bills.
Are y'all voting to adjourn? I don't know who made the motion to adjourn.
Can I say one other thing?
You sure can.
We just want to wish Tommy Gwynn, our world hero in Tullahoma, a happy birthday, 106 years old.
Wow.
World War II and Korean War hero.
Thank you. Commissioner Seaborn, you got one last vote to make as county commissioner. Now his letter says effective the 11th, so he's good tonight. Okay, the 18 yes votes to adjourn. Thank you, guys.